In terms of health care and in terms of the debate that is beginning today on Capitol Hill, Karl, how do you think this is going to go politically?
Well, look, both sides face big challenges. The Republican challenge is that they need to reassure those people who have private insurance on ObamaCare that they're going to be taken care of, and reassure them that they're not going to lose their coverage, that they're going to get something better. And they need to reassure the people, most of the people who have been covered under the Affordable Care Act are covered under Medicaid, the Medicaid expansion, and there's going to be no change for them. Hopefully there'll be improvements in Medicaid, but they'll still have their coverage. So they've got to reassure people, and the best way to reassure people is by laying out a comprehensive plan. Doesn't have to happen overnight, but over the next couple of months they need to lay out step by step by step what people can expect at the end of this process. The Democrats have a problem, and we just saw it, a challenge, and we just saw it in Elijah Cummings' remarks. They're going to be torn between defending something that is clearly broken. I couldn't believe it when he said the polls show that people don't want it to be replaced. If you give people a choice of, do you want to keep it or do you want to replace it, or you want to repeal it, they want to repeal it. And that has been consistent since the time of its passage. If you say, do you want to keep it as is, or do you want to make it better, or do you want to repeal it, then he's right. The repeal doesn't do as well in some polls as make it better. But that's what the Republicans are going to say. We're going to make your health care better, because the Democrats are living in la-la land. Nancy Pelosi went out yesterday and said, quote, ACA has been successful in meeting its goals of reducing costs, increasing access, and improving quality of care. None of those three things have happened under the Affordable Care Act. Vice President-elect Pence was absolutely right. Every single promise used to sell this to the American people has turned out not to be true. And if you're covered by Affordable Care Act policy, you know in all likelihood your deductible is significantly higher than it was when you had other private coverage, and your premiums are skyrocketing, and the amount of access that you've got is diminishing as companies pull out of providing coverage under the Affordable Care Act. So Democrats are defending a broken system, and they're torn between saying, oh well, we admit they got to be improvements, but oh, we've got to keep the system as is. And right now there are a lot more Democrats who seem to be stuck at, we like the system as it is. The only thing you need to do is spend more money on it.
Yeah. You know, so President Obama's on the Hill right now, Karl, and obviously he's trying to protect his legacy, and this is really one of the signature achievements. I mean, it's the largest domestic policy that he passed and that he takes pride in. What do you think those conversations are like right now?
Well, look, he's a cheerleader right now. He's going up there. The Democrats, I think some of them really did expect that they would get back into power in the House. And so he's going up there to sort of stiffen their spines and say, stand with me. It's a rah-rah moment. But let's wait and see if it has a lasting effect. My sense is what's going to happen is Democrats are going to find themselves in a place where they're not going to want to defend the premiums, and they're not going to want to defend the high deductibles, and they're not going to want to defend people finding fault with the Affordable Care Act. They're going to want to find a place where they can say, here are the changes we're for. And that's going to be sort of hard for them to get from, you know, status quo to, oh, no, we really need changes.
I mean, my guess is that they're going to be much more concerned with preserving their own legacy than preserving the president's legacy. And if there are people in their districts and they're in a district that could go either way, they may want to be part of the solution.
This is going to be a good point, and particularly true in the Senate, because in 2018, you have up a bunch of red state senators in states that Trump carried, like Montana and North Dakota and Missouri and Pennsylvania and Indiana, that are going to be saying, you know what, I don't want to just keep defending something that's broken. Look, the Affordable Care Act is almost unique, Martha. It is the only major social legislation in the modern era that is less popular after it passed than it was at the time of its passing. It wasn't popular when it passed. It's gotten less so over time, and that's because the reality of the law has been so harmful to so many families and so many individuals.